Dina O'Reilly has been put off keeping chickens after pine martens raided her coop.
I've had 3 attacks on hens, 3 individual attacks in the last 5 years on chickens that I've had in the garden. The first time I hadn't got a very secure run, I understand that, so I was really devastated. Came down, found the rooster dead, lying there with the hen and the chick gone. Second time, same sort of story. I thought we had secured the place much better. We had the wire dug down into the ground, etc. But the third time, I just thought, well, what can you do?
And you've spoken to people in the area. What have their experiences been?
People have had them come along and take food away at the barbecue. And a friend of mine, a colleague of mine that teaches with me, she has had them in her house. And they've just opened the packet, sitting eating soda bars, that they've opened the packet themselves.
With these crafty creatures causing havoc in the chicken run, Christina needs to up her game. Michael has agreed to give her some tips to help keep her chickens safe.
So a roof is critically important. It's also a good idea to have your coop away from anything like a tree or an overhanging branch or a high fence where they might be able to jump in. So have them a little bit out. They're really agile, jump 2, 3, 4 meters sometimes. You can see the little hole down here.
Yeah.
Your friend the pine marten, we would love to find a hole like that. So we need to have this hole blocked up with some wire which runs out from this and not let them in there. It's also, if appropriate, and sometimes it's not easy, but an electric fence around the outside of the run is really good at keeping them back. 3 or 4 strands of electric fencing can be really good if that's appropriate in your context.
Let's hope a security upgrade goes some way to solving Christina's problems. But ensuring the pine martens and chickens live together side by side will be tough. And with a pine marten population going from strength to strength, trouble could still come home to roost.
You got an egg?
I think they've left that one out for him.
Right, it is that time of year again. The Countryfile Photographic Competition for 2018 kicks off tonight.
Oh,
And
June?
we join
I
John
know,
to
that's
find
a
out what
Christmas
this year's
thing.
theme
I
is.
suppose you have to get them printed in September, October.
Oh, yeah, I suppose
Everyone
they do.
that bought a copy of last year's calendar. The total that you helped us raise for children in need is a magic £2,146,712.20. A staggering total. Thank you so much. Here's John to get the ball rolling on this year's competition.
Who's she then? Is she new to the programme?
With every changing season, our countryside is transformed. A wealth of wildlife and colour light up our landscape. Be it vast vistas or life in miniature, there's always something to stir the imagination. And we want you to go out and seize those moments for yourself, because yes, you guessed it, it's that time of year again when we launch our Countryfile Photographic Competition. This year our theme is Seasons in the Sun. So grab your camera, your smartphone, your tablet, and go out and capture the British countryside and all its wildlife in its glory, and then send those perfect moments to us. Joining me in judging this year's competition are Simon King and Keris Matthews. Simon's an old hand when it comes to our competition, and as an award-winning wildlife cameraman, he's worked on some of the BBC's most respected natural history programmes. And new to the team is musician, broadcaster and festival organiser Keris.
Well, I woke up this morning like I always done.
Keris has had a love of nature and wildlife since she was young. It's provided inspiration for her lyrics, her life and her love of poetry. So, with Simon's skills and Keris' passion, we've definitely got a winning combination. A beautiful day we've got for
Oh,
Laurence, isn't it?
absolutely stunning.
Which is quite appropriate because our theme is Seasons in the Sun. So what do you think of that theme, Simon?
I think it's wonderfully ambiguous. You can find almost
I was trying to go out and conservatory again.
There's a bit of sunlight involved, and that could be through a cloud or not, so great.
Your imagination can go wild, can't it, with that as the theme?
As a newcomer, Keris, what kind of images are you going to be looking for?
And I'm looking for something surprising, something that sort of tells you something about the world that you wouldn't have thought about before, something that just makes you smile, maybe.
I'll be looking for just an image that the composition
the light, the way the light is used, the way the light has been considered by the photographer, strikes me.
Well, we have a lake here.
Yeah.
Fancy
And
going out on that?
The swan wants to come with us. Look, don't.
This wildlife trust centre in Wiltshire is certainly giving us good light today.
Thank you.
See, now, don't forget, if you're entering the competition, you don't have to be in a beautiful place like here at Lowermoor Nature Reserve. Our theme of seasons in the sun is totally open to your own interpretation. Off you go. But what we are looking for are beautiful photographs that will showcase the very best the British countryside has to offer. You're doing well there, Terrace.
Thank you. I'll see you in London. I'm quite tempted to take pictures of the sun on the ripples of the water.
Whether it's wild landscapes, animals at play, or wildlife in the wilderness that capture your imagination, we want to see our seasons at their very best.
I reckon cute pictures always sort of catch the eye, don't they?
Inevitably. And there's
Or do you
nothing
think that's a bit...
No, I don't. I think there's absolutely no shame in saying, because I do.
But whatever you decide to photograph, please do it responsibly. Follow the code and take care not to disturb any animal or damage the environment.
I'm doing all the work for you,
You are doing
Simon.
the work. You're doing a brilliant job. You've got yellow flag iris reflections with the blue damselflies on those stems.
In theory, Simon.
Yeah. If you go telephoto now. Beautiful though, isn't it?
So relaxing. What would be a good starter?
Well, frankly, phone camera. They're great. They have good lenses.
Yeah.
They're easy to use.
And the beauty with smartphones is you've always got it on you, so you've got better chance of capturing that piece of action.
Absolutely. And little compact cameras, same. But the limitations are the lenses. The bridge camera that you're holding, next step up. So you can't change the lens, but the lens is versatile. And then after that, you get into the DSLRs, things like this. But that's because there are lots of dots on the chip.
Yeah.
You can get really good images on a bridge camera, and indeed you can get really good images on a phone.
Right then, we should see what John's up to, shouldn't we? What a lovely day. I hope you're enjoying this.
Laura says that they should land about 7:30 tomorrow.
Oh, I thought they weren't leaving until 7.
We
Just
must
thought
remind
you
you
weren't leaving
that
that or
pictures of
something, maybe
pets
it's
are not allowed in our competition, nor
a
are
little
zoo
bit
animals.
earlier then.
That'll be right.
And any
Yeah,
image
if they land about
of
7:30,
wildlife in captivity
saying I
must
want to
be
get through
prepared as
customs,
such.
8:30. Should go about 10:30 or so. 10:30, 11.
Yeah, I suppose they even less. They've not got to wait for baggage.
Because the
They
leaf
pick up their
is
car.
emerging, it's harder and harder to see stuff. But if you just listen for a sec as well, there's a lot of different
He's at
species
6:15.
singing. I can hear a robin.
Yeah,
I
but
can hear a xylophone.
they're gonna, to get in at 7:30, it's going to take them half an hour at least to get through and get their car and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But if you just
So that's 8
pretend
o'clock,
it's being lower,
and then 2 hours to get up and running.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just keep to the
Probably,
automatic setting on
10,
the camera.
10:30.
Probably a mistake.
it's easy and it does guarantee an image.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
There is no doubt that if you can master the manual settings, it's you deciding what the photograph is rather than the camera. What you've done is really good there. You've gone into the telephoto end of the lens, which is isolating the plant and throwing the rest of the world out of focus.
Do you know what fascinates me is that with the seasons, nothing stays the same, and yet there's this hanker to recognise what you've known as a child, and nothing really remains absolutely the same. So it's just endlessly inspiring and fascinating, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Woods, meadows, hedgerows, cornfields, all around much beauty intervenes, filling with harmony the ear and eye, while o'er the mingling scenes far spreads the laughing sky.
Whether in the city,
Look at that.
on the
I know, it was
coast,
incredible, wasn't it?
or in the countryside, we want to see your magical snapshots. Last year, tens of thousands of you sent in your photos, and this year we're hoping that even more of you will take part. And once all the entries are in, they'll be whittled down to the final 12. And those winning photos will star in the Countryfile calendar for 2019, which we sell here to children in need. And of course, there'll be an overall winner chosen by you, our Countryfile viewers. Not only will that picture take pride of place on the cover of our calendar, the winner will also get a £1,000 gift card to spend on photographic equipment of their choice. And whoever takes the judge's favourite photo will receive a gift card for £500 to be spent on their choice for photographic equipment.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Look at the show of buttercups. It's absolutely
Dazzling, isn't it?
It is.
This traditional meadow at Lower Moor Nature Reserve is certainly filled with sunny, seasonal splendour. It does look beautiful.
It
sure does.
Absolutely beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah, you got something? Oh, I like the jaunty angle. That's good.
Jaunty angle, nice sky, little clouds, sunshine. Buttercup, I think, in focus.
Now this is my entry.
Oh, I like that.
I love it because you can see the hairs on the
That's lovely.
buttercup.
The framing is lovely because you've got the emergent flower there.
Simon, let's see Simon's.
There, that one.
However, landscape style images work best for our calendar.
You know what I've learned today though? What's the most fun is just being getting down to the ground and looking at life from a different angle.
Well, I'll see you both
Thank you, John.
in a few weeks'
Lovely
time
to meet you.
for the judging. Thank you very much for today.
I think I need to
Now, it's up to you. If you take or have already taken some really stunning images, please send them into our competition. You can enter up to 3 photographs in total that fit with the theme of Seasons in the Sun.
Sorry?
You can send
tell Laura there's going to be none left.
or submit them online at www.bbc.co.uk
Yeah, I told her it was like leaving the Fox Village Kitchen.
/Countryfile. If you're sending your photos in, please write your name, address, and a daytime and evening phone number on the back of each photo with a note of where it was taken. Post them to Countryfile Photographic Competition, BBC Bristol, White Ladies Road, Bristol BS8 2LR. We're looking for original photographs that really reflect our theme of Seasons in the Sun. So that means that any photo that's won a national or international competition or been taken by a professional just can't be submitted. Every picture must have been taken in the UK. And I'm sorry, but we just can't return any entries. All the details on how to enter the competition can be found on our website, together with the terms and conditions and privacy policy. The competition closes at midnight on Friday the 20th of July, so you've got just under 5 weeks to send in your entries. So grab those cameras, get out into the great outdoors and capture the seasons in the sun.
And the hills that we climb, let us see without a time.
Earlier, we saw how Sir James Dyson is reshaping the future of farming on his land. But is it a vision the typical farmer can embrace? Here's Tom.
Caution, motors will start spinning. Drones patrolling the fields like sentries, whilst satellite-guided tractors prowl the landscape beneath. I'll be finding out if this could be a vision of how a typical farmer will be doing things in the future.
But for one farmer, it's a reality right now.
As a wealthy landowner who has innovation at his core, Sir James Dyson is better placed than most to prepare for the Westminster government's vision of a fundamental reform to farming after Brexit. But he's not without his troubles.
That's because his farms in total receive more EU subsidy than anyone else. And what's more, they're still making a loss. That's hardly in tune with the government's vision of self-reliance.
So, with plans to change how farming is subsidised after Brexit, will this multi-billionaire still be able to afford to farm?
You're said to be the biggest receiver of farm subsidy in Britain, many millions.
Are you happy with that, 2 million? No, I'm not happy with it. Nobody's happy to be receiving a grant, but the problem is that European farmers get very large grants, so you've got a position where you've got to have a level playing field, otherwise the supermarkets will just go and buy the cheaper food in the continent, and only 30% of our food comes from Europe.
But the direction of travel of subsidies is away from paying for area according to paying for environmental goods. Is that going to work?
Do you think we pay farmers an equivalent amount of money to that which European farmers are getting for being good farmers, which would be environmental stewardship, then that's a perfectly good way to give subsidies. If we don't get the grants, we can't grow food. We have to do something else on the land.
The government has committed to funding farming at the current levels until 2022, but after that date, nothing's certain. So, what does the government's vision mean for a more typical farmer? Someone not farming on the same scale as James Dyson, but definitely sharing his drive to succeed. Just 30 miles down the road from Sir James Dyson in Lincolnshire lives Colin Chappell, a fourth-generation farmer who runs a mixed arable and beef farm. What was the last harvest like?
Appalling in one word.
At just over 1,500 acres or 600 hectares, Colin's land is a tiny fraction of the size of Sir James's. But with fewer chemical tools at his disposal, the challenges of farming on this scale are becoming anything but small. What are your concerns about the future, particularly when it comes to chemicals?
Combining peas on my own farm is becoming very difficult to grow nowadays, because I used to be able to do 2 hits on the whole field in herbicide, and now I have to do 3 or 4, because the armoury that I've got, the chemicals I'm allowed to use, are disappearing very quickly. It can't just be ban everything and, for example, organic farming. We cannot produce enough at the moment to feed our population, and yet we're being asked to produce more from less ground. Is that possible? I hope so.
Politics is changing the way Colin farms, and he's not afraid of doing things differently. He already uses GPS in his tractors, and
Maybe.
believes
Not be too
farmers
much longer and we'll head
must
back
take
to
up
your
new
house.
technology to meet the challenges of the future.
The idea of autonomous little robots in your field working 24 hours a day, lasering weeds, is possibly the future.
Wow, so technology not just for James Dyson?
Not just for James Dyson, no, not at all.
The cost of embracing the latest innovations may be too expensive for Colin to take up all on his own, but he may have a solution. He's already part of a national network sharing ideas, and he's also looking to compete on a larger scale.
We've got a really nice overview of your farm here. Look at that.
To do that, he's planning to work with neighbouring farmers to share resources, costs and production.
I'm concerned about the future. I want to have a farm there that's there for my son or daughter to take over. We're going to have to cut costs or share machinery, share farms, even share farming. Why not?
And how might that change in the number of farms and farmers affecting the countryside?
I think, in my point of view, if there are only going to be less farmers, are there going to be bigger farmers? Smaller farmers may, unfortunately, not be able to survive.
Do you think we could be looking at a sort of new dawn in farming?
I think within the next year, things will be done differently. I'm not saying a new age, but a different way of farming, yes.
It'll probably be gone by the time we get back. Shem.
I think we're going to have to. I think we have no alternative. Yes.
We've seen the challenges this future farming holds for 2 different farmers. But it's clear, when it comes to financing this vision, they share some common ground. Innovators like Sir James Dyson are a great asset, and they'll change some of the features on the face of British farming. But both these farmers agree that subsidies, whether for the environment or to compete with other nations, are vital to keep British food on our plates.
The technology in agriculture may be getting smarter, but there's one thing our farmers, like Adam, will always have to battle with: the weather.
You going out? Come on, don't just stand there. Come on. It's like you've forgotten how to make your legs move, eh?
very difficult start to the year. We had that early snow and then a prolonged period of wet weather. So the ground was so wet, we couldn't get on with the tractors and do the spring planting. This barley should have gone in last week of February, first week of March, but we didn't get it in until May. So it's much shorter than it should be, and hopefully it'll catch up in time for harvest. The other thing that struggled on the farm has been the animals.
The biggest concern has been my flock of Bromley sheep. We can delay planting crops due to bad weather, but there's some things we just can't postpone. We were still in the winter's wet and icy grip when the flock started lambing, which was bad news for both the lambs and the ewes.
And they've had a tough spring with all that snow and then wet weather. The grass didn't grow, so the mothers didn't produce very good milk, and so they haven't grown as well as we might have liked.
The weather hasn't just affected the lamb's development, it's also had an effect on the farm's finances.
We have had to feed lots of hard food, lots of concentrated pellets to make up the lack of grass, so it's been an expensive spring.
But there's one cost I'm very happy to carry, to keep all the animals in good health.
These were the last lambs on the farm to be born, and they're due for their vaccinations. They get one now and then a booster in 4 weeks' time. And it's a little bit like MMR for children, but it's sheep diseases, so tetanus, clostridial diseases, braxy, blackleg, those sorts of things. And it's a little injection just under the skin.
Literally stop barking when I'm out there.
We've had a really tough start to the year. And so the
He
last
barks
thing I
to see if
want them
anybody
doing
will
is
bark
getting
back.
ill now.
Yeah.
This vaccine's very important.
But the lambs aren't the only ones needing medication. My Gloucestershire Old Spot pigs will breed throughout the year, and the latest piglets are due to be weaned from the sow.
Look at them.
Before I separate them though, there's one thing I need to do. Give them a worming injection behind the ear.
Okay, whenever you pick a piglet up, it always squeals, so they might make a bit of a din while this is going on.
The piglets aren't used to being handled, and they're less bothered about the injection than they are about being picked up.
It's always quite noisy. As soon as you put them down, they quieten down again. They're just calling for their mum. He's not that bothered there.
Now they're all wormed, it's time to separate the piglets from the sow.
So these piglets now are about 8 weeks old. They're independent, they can live off hard food, they don't need their mother's milk anymore. And this is them growing up, really. They'll stay in here now.
Look at him scratching his sob on it.
And I'll take the sow out with the boar. That's them saying goodbye to the mum.
It'll be a few months before these little piggies are ready for market. In the meantime, the sow will rejoin her herd, and she'll soon be ready to breed again.
Little girl. They're so docile, these Gloucesters, really lovely to work with. So she's back with her old mates now, and now she's no longer feeding the piglets. She'll come back into season, so she'll be ready to mate with the boar in about 3 or 4 days' time.
Good girl, poor thing. You're a bloody chance.
My Highland cattle weren't bothered by the long winter. For them, life just carries on as normal. And this time of year means new calves.
The Highlands live up in the Scottish mountains and can cope with any weather that's thrown at them. And the calf are born ready for the job. It's a little male calf. We call him Samson, and he's doing very well. Mother's a little bit protective. You have to be quite careful around these Highlands. And this cow here is heavily pregnant. You can see she's very rounded in her tummy, but she's not particularly imminent, and I can tell that by looking at her udder. Her teats are still quite small. When she's getting close to giving birth, her udder would spill with milk and swell up, and so I think she's still got probably a month to go, I'd say. And over here, of course, is Archie. He's the dad of the calf. And he's got a lovely nature, loves having his back scratched. Got a fantastic temperament. And you can really see this thick Highland hair here. And they're starting to molt out a bit because it's springtime. But it doesn't matter what weather gets thrown at these fellas. they just turn their back to it and stand like rocks. Good boy.
There's always a lot of new life on the farm at this time of year. The sheep, in particular, keep us very busy. Which means we have a lot of lamb available at the end of the summer, but not much by the following Easter. However, there are some breeds that can change all that.
Why are you going to
In
pick?
this field, we've got our Dorset.
Oh, that's the
And
They're
Dorset
sack.
males,
is one of
aren't
a
they?
few
Yeah, that's the
breeds
sack.
that can lamb out of
The paint sack.
season.
Yeah.
And so most sheep come into season in the autumn months and accept the ram then, and then give birth 5 months later in the spring when the grass starts to grow. Now the Dorset can mate in the spring and give birth in the autumn, so back to front really.
Now it's warmed up, most of the Dorsets have been shorn, but we've given the ram a particularly quirky cut.
We've left the wool on their chests so that we can put paste on, so when he mates with the ewes, he leaves a mark on their rump so we know who's been mated and who hasn't. And I've just got to replenish some of the paste on these rams. Right, if you lot will just leave me alone a minute. Here we are. Okay, now I need to catch a ram.
We've reared a number of these sheep as pets, and I'm getting lots of attention because they think I've got food.
Come on, boys. Yeah, fella. Right. So, there's no nuts in there.
Bloody eat it.
What I'm going to do is just...
While I'm trying to grab one of the rams, the inevitable happens.
This fat one has got orange paint on her lips. It looks like she's got lipstick on.
Look at her eating the bloody
With the ram
stuff.
secured, I can finally put the paste to its proper use. It's important to really layer it on to make sure the ewes get properly marked during mating.
These Dorset rams are all fired up and ready to go now, and you can see this pinkness shows that he's full of testosterone and ready to mate with the ewes.
The advantage of marking like this is that we can separate the ewes we know have mated from ones that are still to accept the rams. That way, we maximise the chances of getting as many lambs as possible.
So the idea behind doing this is that the ewes in this field will give birth to lambs in November.